Hello, and welcome to episode 30 of 10,000 Stitches Podcast, a weekly chit-chat all about the joys of sock knitting. My name is Andy, and I like making socks, and hopefully you do too if you're here. Let's see. So this is episode 30, like I said. I'm currently recording on Monday, June 27th, and this episode will go live on Tuesday, June 28th. If you wanted to find me on the interwebs, you can find me as Purlbug, P-U-R-L-B-U-G, on Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry. You can find my website at thepurlbug.com. There is the 10,000 Stitches Podcast Ravelry group, and then, of course, the YouTube channel. Itchy. If you wanted to get in contact with me, you can send me a message through any of those places that I just mentioned. So like Instagram, Twitter, Ravelry, feel free to send me a direct message. On my blog, you can either leave a comment on like the post for this episode, or there's a contact page, and basically it's just a little form that you fill out, and that sends it directly to my email if you'd prefer to do that. You can leave a comment on YouTube, whatever you prefer. And if you are looking for links to anything that I mention, they will be in different places depending on where you're watching this. So if you are watching this on the blog or the Ravelry thread for this episode, underneath the video, everything will be linked. So any patterns that I mention, any shops, anything like that, anything worth linking will be linked right below the video. If you're watching this on YouTube, in the description box below, there will be a link to the specific blog post that goes with this episode. You can follow that link and then find all the links that are there. There's also a link to the Ravelry group in that description box as well, if you'd prefer to do that. Okay, I think that's all the administrative stuff. So I am going to try and make this a shorter episode because I've had a long day, and do you ever sometimes just have those days where you just feel very like out of sorts and very kind of like restless and like nothing is quite the way you want it to be? That's kind of one of those days that I've been having. So I'm just going to try and keep this a little bit shorter, I think. I'm going to try and do it all in one take, so without doing any pauses or anything in my recording. And then maybe eat some dinner. I think I'm just tired. Like I get like this sometimes when I'm tired, and I didn't sleep well last night, so hopefully that's all it is. But anyway, we'll follow the same sort of format that we usually do. So we'll talk about finished objects, works in progress, what's coming up next. We'll talk about the knit along, which I just realized I forgot to grab something for. We'll talk about question of the week, and then we'll do chit chat. So I'm going to go grab something for the knit along. I'll be right back. All right. I'll go down there. That's for later. Anyway, so let's talk about finished objects. So what I have finished this week are my Longing for Spring socks. I forget how far I was when I recorded on Monday, and of course I wrote my notes in a different notebook than what I usually use. I have no idea when I finished the first one, but yeah, these are done. I finished them on Sunday, and they went really fast, so it's not as if it took me at least a week to do them, but I felt like the amount of time that I was actually knitting on them was much less. Here, I'll let you look at them while I yak. But I didn't get any knitting, or hardly any knitting, done on Friday night, so that was a big part of it. But yeah, I really like them. These are a 68 stitch sock, Fish Lips Kiss Heel. These were knit toe up, and the yarn is Cascade Heritage sock in this sort of silvery gray colorway, and I mentioned what the colorway was last week, but I think it's 5660, because this is the tag that was left in my project bag, so I'm thinking it's from these. US size 1s, 2.25 millimeter needles, and these were made for my mom, so I'm hoping that they will turn out to be long enough for her, but I think they will, and this yarn's pretty stretchy too. But yeah, I liked this pattern. I mentioned last week that I really enjoyed this little flower pattern. Oh, come on, focus. And that I would totally use this pattern again, like for like a bigger project or something too. Like I think it would be very nice as sort of like an occasional motif on like a sweater or something. Very easy to memorize the pattern. I think it was only 10 rows, but of course half of those rows are just plain knitting. So yeah, I definitely recommend these. It was super fun, super easy pattern, just really a fun one to knit. So yeah, those are done. And then for work in progress, also, these are one of the rare times I actually made the leg just about as long as the foot. So that doesn't happen very often, but it did with these ones. And I still had a fair amount of yarn left over, so go figure. Okay, works in progress. So I had said that when I finished those ones, I was going to start the Cadence socks. And I don't remember who that's by, but like I said, I'll link to the pattern. So I did start the Cadence socks and then promptly unraveled them because I don't know. So the Cadence socks reminded me a lot of the Paragon socks that I had made forever ago, and I don't know where they wound up because Wesley cleaned and everything is who knows where. But anyway, I had mentioned with the Paragon socks that I felt like they just took forever because there's a lot of like purling involved. And so I started the Cadence socks, and there's nothing against the pattern. The pattern is great, the charts are great. I really enjoy the look of the finished socks, but there's a lot of purling. And I was just like, I just don't want to do this right now. So I started them, then frogged it. I got maybe 15 or so rows in. I made it past like the ribbing at the top and then got a decent way into the pattern. So maybe 15 or 20 rows in, and I just decided, I just don't want to do these. So I frogged that, and then I found another lace pattern because I was like, okay, I really would like to do one more lace pair of socks, even though I was starting these yesterday and the month ends on like Thursday. But I was like, let's try and do another pair of lace socks. So then I started I think they're black rose socks. And I got about this far on it. I'm trying to not bump my microphone. I got about this far on it. And it was a horrible yarn choice. I was hoping that, because this pattern looks really great with solid colors. And of course, again, I will link it. You should really check it out. Check out like some of the finished projects on Ravelry because it's a really beautiful pattern with solid colors. And I was hoping that it would do something similar to the By the Seine River socks, where like it would take a self-striping yarn and really do something cool with it, because I hate this yarn. Like, this is the blue stripe rag from Patton's Croy, and I'm not a fan of it. And so I was hoping that maybe this would spice it up enough that I would enjoy using it. No. So this is how far I got. I'm gonna frog this as well. This I did yesterday. This is how far I got yesterday. So I'm not loving it. So then I realized that, if I don't really want to do another lace sock, I'm just not going to do another lace sock. I'm just going to quit my own knit along a couple days early, I guess, which is okay. I feel like sometimes you just have to really like realize when you're not enjoying something, and like there's something with like, oh, okay, I don't enjoy something because it's pushing me to like use a new technique or do something that's unfamiliar to me, and like that's an okay sort of unfamiliar or like uncomfortableness, like an uncomfortableness that comes from unfamiliarity. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but an uncomfortableness or like an unwillingness that just comes because it's not enjoyable, especially with this where it's like a hobby and it's like, this isn't my job, so I should enjoy what I'm doing. I'm just gonna do things that I enjoy. So if I don't want to do a bunch of purling on a pair of socks, then I'm not gonna do it. So what I was working on today was I picked up my little cable knee highs again, and I've just been working on this today. I realized that it probably doesn't look like I've made any progress, but that's just kind of the nature of this sock. I know I've done, 15 rows maybe today. So, I've been working on this. That leads into what's coming up next. So what's coming up next is the first sock of my unusual construction chunk of socks. And the first pair that I was going to do there was the Squircles. And I guess I have yarn that I could start the Squircles with, but I had bought some other yarn that I wanted to do them with, but who knows, maybe I'll make 2 pairs of Squircles, because I was looking through my like queue for the unusual construction socks, and I don't have a ton of patterns in there, and so I might duplicate some of them. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, what's coming up next is the Squircles, and I kind of have to decide if I want to use yarn that I already have here. I'm pointing towards my closet where the yarn is. If I want to use yarn that's already here, or if I want to wait until it comes in the mail, because it'll probably come tomorrow, and just keep working on my little cable knee highs tonight. We'll see. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I had a thought about unusual construction. So what's up next is the Squircles, and then after that I think is the double helix socks, which is a heel out construction. And that's another one that I'm just trying to decide how I want to do that. Like if I maybe want to find a simpler heel out construction method, because those double helixes just look like they look really cool, but it also looks very fiddly, and so I have to decide how I want to do that. So if you've knit those, let me know what you think about it, and let me know if you think that like that's a sock where it's kind of like, yeah, it's a little tough at the beginning, but then it's smooth sailing after that, or if it's just fiddly the whole time. Let me know. But yeah, that's what's coming up next, and I guess that leads us into talking about the knit along. So so we are wrapping up the lace knit along this week. By the time you guys see this at the earliest Tuesday, you will have until end of the day Thursday. Yes, right? 27th, 28th, 29th. Yeah, you'll have till the end of the day Thursday to get in any other finished objects. I was going to look up how many finished objects we had now, but I forgot. So we have a decent amount, but there's always room for a few more. So yeah, it will run through the end of the day Thursday, and kind of similar to how I've done it other times, I will probably close up the thread Friday morning, so that way everyone has time to get in regardless of what time zone you're in. So yeah, and I have some prize yarn to show you guys. Oh, I'm going to open this over here because it's very crinkly. Okay, so this, I think I had ordered this I think I was waiting for this in the mail last weekend, but it just, because of like the horrible weather and stuff, it just got delayed a little bit. So anyway, I got this in the mail the other day, and I'm super excited about it. So this yarn comes from Birch Hollow Fibers, and again, I will link to the Etsy shop down below. And this is a dyer here in Virginia, and I forget exactly where in Northern Virginia, I'm pretty sure. But this is, the colorway is Storms A-Comin', and it is a 75/25 BFL superwash nylon, and this is the softest BFL I've ever felt. Like the yarn that I used for my Drachenschwingen, the Fleece Artist, that was a pretty soft BFL as well. This is a little bit softer. Like I wouldn't necessarily know that this was BFL if I didn't see the label. But yeah, so Storms A-Comin', and it is these really pretty, like kind of gray variegated yarn. So it's really interesting. Online, I feel like I remember the picture online being a little bit more like cream colored, but I actually really love this. But yeah, so it's very light gray at this end and then a darker gray at this end. And I just think this is so appropriate, you know, like for summer, because we get this all the time here where it's like you can just see like the dark storm clouds rolling in. And so I'm just super excited about this one. And it just looks to be really well dyed, and and it's gender neutral. Like, as you guys know, I tend to prefer to do sort of gender neutral yarn for prizes, and this one definitely fits the bill because there is nothing at all gender specific about this. It's very kind of works for any taste palette, I feel like, and because it's variegated, you know, it's like if you maybe wouldn't necessarily buy a gray yarn, like it still has like a little bit of excitement in there for you. So yeah, I'm super excited about this, and it came really quickly, you know, other than the stupid rain. And I think she included a couple of stitch markers in there too. So that's a really nice touch that I was not expecting. So I will of course send these along, but a couple of cute little, just like the little ring sort of stitch markers, but they're very cute. And so that was a nice little plus. So yeah, this will be sent along to the winner of the knit along. As well as, so I know most of the time I kind of do like a yarn and a project bang. This time I didn't do a project bang because I just haven't really had an avenue to pick one up. I was hoping maybe I would bust out my sewing machine and play around and make one up, but it hasn't happened. So I'm doing 2 skeins of yarn instead. And then there's another couple of things that I will throw in that I'm hoping, we'll see how that works out. The full prize I will show in next week's episode. I won't send it out until after I record next week's, but the main thing will be these 2 skeins of yarn. So this one is from Wild Oak Yarns, and it's from Roanoke, Virginia. And if I can find their website, I will put it down below. But so this one was gifted to me, and I am re-gifting, which I know normally is a bad thing, but here's why. So it was very kindly gifted to me, and I love it, but it's 100% superwash merino, and it is a single. Oh, come on, focus. 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 You're not going to focus, are you? No, apparently not. Anyway, this is a single ply. Maybe I can get it to focus on that. Would you just... There we go. So you can, oh, come on. Would you just not yarn camera? Anyway, it's a really nice single, but the problem is, like, so for me, I'm hesitant to use 100% superwash for socks anyway, and especially a single. I just, like, to me, this wants to be, you know, a sock head hat, or maybe like a shawlette or something like that. Like it just wants to be not socks. And I don't see myself making socks anytime soon. And especially because it's so pretty and yellow and like really, summery, or it would be great for fall. I just want someone else to have a chance to use it before it just sits in my stash and doesn't get used fast enough. So I am regifting, for your benefit. So this will also be going out. So I feel like it's kind of fun because it's set, it's storms and then sunshine. But anyway, I think I remember the person who sent this to me saying that they weren't making yarn anymore. They weren't, this dyer wasn't dyeing yarn. So if I'm remembering incorrectly, of course I will link to their shop below, but if you don't see a link, that's why. But I just, it's so perfect. It's sunshine and storms. So yeah. So yeah, that's for the knit along stuff. And then of course I will start the next one up. So the next thread will be open before I record again. So I will start the unusual construction thread, and I will rehash rules next week for that because I can't think of them right now. My brain's too fried from working. But yes, I mean, of course the rules will be in the threads, and links to like example patterns that I think really fit the theme well will be in there. And then I'll rehash the rules verbally for you guys next week. But yeah, that's knit along stuff. And then let's see, where am I at? Question of the week. So last week's question of the week, I asked about what do you do when, like, what's your favorite activity to do without power? And I got some really great responses for that. A lot of people are more willing to go outside than I am. I guess I'm just too pasty. I feel like I'm a little pink right now just because I walked home and it's sunny out and hot out. But yeah, so my question of the week this week, and this will relate to something I had hoped to have here to show you this week, but I don't. So it will relate to, I'll show it next week. I'll talk about it when I talk about responses next week. But so you guys know I'm kind of into pens and stuff like that. And there's this thing in the pen community where we talk about your Grail pen. And it's basically, your Grail pen is meant to be something that, there's some barrier between you and the pen beyond just like, you hitting, buy and then it getting to you. Like, it's not just a pen you can just buy. And sometimes that barrier is cost. Like, sometimes it's a very expensive pen that, you really have to save up for. You maybe have to sell some other pens, something like that. Like, it's a pen that you can't just afford to go buy. So sometimes the barrier is cost. Sometimes the barrier is time. Like, sometimes it's a pen that has been discontinued and isn't made anymore. And so it's a matter of like finding one that someone's willing to sell, so that can sometimes take some time for you to be able to do that. Those are the two big ones for the most part. But yeah, so basically this Grail pen is something that you can't just go out and immediately purchase. You have to kind of work at it, and I think that's, the whole Grail thing. Like, there's some sort of quest that you have to go on to get it. So I realize that doesn't necessarily correspond directly to yarn because, like, for the most part, like, I mean, yes, there are like dyers that don't dye yarn anymore and stuff like that, but like, I feel like there isn't as much of like a secondhand market for yarn because, with a pen you can buy it and use it and then sell it used. Yarn doesn't work so well like that. So I mean, you can destash and stuff, but my question this week is, what is your Grail yarn? And this, I think more so would be for yarns that either, are kind of expensive because they're very luxurious and not just something that you can get anytime, but more so yarns that are not available very often. So like, I'm thinking yarns from shops maybe like Volenvine or Barenvol or stuff like that, where it's like they, kind of do their shop update and then it all sells out immediately. So yarns like that, where it's like, it's just hard to get a hold of them, or maybe there is like a colorway that is not always available that you really, really would love, or like a colorway that you remember seeing a while ago that, you fell in love with and you can't get it anymore, or it's only available sometimes, things like that. What is your Grail yarn? So I asked this question because that thing I had been hoping to get in the mail, I know I'm being very mysterious, was I got my Grail yarn. It's a yarn that I saw and I really fell in love with, and it's not like it was particularly expensive or anything. I just wasn't able to easily get it because it's not always in stock. And so I finally got it, and it is somewhere here in Richmond at a post office somewhere. It's just not at my post office. And so I will show you guys my Grail yarn next week. And I even got some extra to share. So it will, I got a little bit extra to use as giveaway prize sometime in the future here. So I'm pretty excited about it. But yeah, that's my question of the week this week. What is your Grail yarn? And then we'll just do a little bit of chit chat before I go make myself some dinner. So let's see, this past week, we had 2 more tests in my stats class. I aced both of them. So I mean, granted, like it's an introductory level class. I should be doing really well, but I'm still quite pleased that I am. So yeah, so there's that. And what else? Wesley and I have been going to the gym. I think we actually made it there 4 times this past week, and we went again this morning. So we've been really trying to like get in the habit. We do kind of the same workout when we go together. So we've been, pumping iron, and so that's really kind of fun. And like it's only noteworthy because, so we've been doing weightlifting stuff, and I finally got up the courage last week to actually use like a barbell. So like if you've never weightlifted before, there's like the big thick metal barbells that they use to put the big plates on. And those are 45 pounds, just the bar by itself. So the bar itself is not light. So I finally got up the courage to use it for squats and deadlifts last week. And then today I got up the courage to use it for my bench press. So yay, I am now squatting and deadlifting and benching a bar by itself. But I'm kind of excited because, it's one of those things that like, even though it's not really that much weight, it makes me feel like, well, one, it makes me feel like a big kid in the weight room, and it just makes me feel strong because it's more weight than I've been able to lift previously. So I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, so there's that. What else? Otherwise, the rest of the week was just pretty kind of uneventful. On Friday, I really wanted to go to King's Dominion and ride roller coasters. Wesley did not, so we compromised. We did not go up to King's Dominion, but I didn't want to sit around the house either. So we decided to go see Independence Day. I think it's Independence Day Resurgence. It's like the sequel to Independence Day that just came out on Friday. And like honestly, I can't remember the last time we went to go see a movie in theaters before that, because we just don't do it because it's kind of expensive, and it's there's no theaters like within walking distance of our apartment, so that's kind of a bummer too, like that we have to drive somewhere for it. And especially now that I'm not eating like corn anymore, like if I tried to eat popcorn at a movie, it would make me super duper sick. So that kind of takes some of the fun out of it too. Like it shouldn't, but it does. Anyway, so we went to go see that, and it was super good. I highly recommend, like if you were a fan of the first one, and if you're a fan of movies like like Transformers, or I think like even if you're a fan of like kind of the Marvel movies, like Avengers movies, like basically those like action-packed kind of movies like that with lots of explosions and stuff, I think you'd like it. I highly recommend it. So yes, we did that on Friday, and then we did try to go up to King's Dominion on Saturday, and had a hardcore fail because it was a Saturday morning, which I thought wouldn't be busy. Turns out it totally is. But they were also doing this thing that they call like King's Fest, which is this big like Christian themed weekend thing. So I think there were just like a lot of like families and church groups and stuff there. So yeah, I think we rode 3 rides, and we were probably there for maybe like 2 hours, and only rode like 3 rides. And like this was especially bad for me because I just don't have the patience for it. Like I don't have the patience to stand in line for, a 2-minute roller coaster ride for 30 minutes. Like that's just not enough return on my investment for me, especially when it's like hot out and sunny and stuff. So it's like, yeah, it just doesn't work out for me. But we're hoping to get back up there maybe some night this week after work, when not as many people will be there. And then let's see, so we did that, and then what did we do yesterday? Yesterday I went and got some plants, which I suppose I can show you guys one of them. I have it right here. So we've been really big into plants lately. So I went and bought this bamboo, which I planted in this thing of, it's like aquarium rocks and some water in there. So yeah, this was a little thing of bamboo that I got. And then I also got a succulent. But that's way out there, so I'm not going to bother to show it. And Wesley got another like bush shrub thing that he turned into a bonsai. That's what he's been doing, is he's really into bonsai. So he has a couple of them sitting outside. And yeah, we've just been slowly filling our apartment with plants. Like I have the bamboo in here, and then we have an orchid on the desk, and then another plant sitting in the window that is going to become a bonsai. Like Wesley's trying to like straighten it out and get it to grow straight up. But I can show you the orchid because that's pretty cute. This is Wesley's. He's the one who likes the orchids. But yeah, this is his orchid that we've had for quite a while now, actually. Yeah, so that's what we did yesterday. Kind of a lazy day other than that. So yeah, and then today was Monday, back at work. I think I had mentioned last week that one of my TAs was feeling really sick, and so I had to fill in for her Monday, and I actually had to fill in for her again on Thursday. I mean, I didn't have to. I told her, like, she still wasn't feeling well, and I was like, no, just stay home, get yourself feeling better. I will take one of them. Wesley took the other one because he's a nice guy like that, and so she seems to be feeling better now, so that was good. I'm glad that she is getting over, I think it was just like a stomach bug that just like wouldn't go away. So yes, it was good to see her again today and see her looking a little bit peppier than before. And yeah, I guess that's going to be it. So, well, we're under 25 minutes, or we're under 30 minutes, so I guess it is a shorter episode, but yeah, I think I'm just going to go get some dinner and take a little bit of a lazy night and hopefully try to get to bed early and just get out of this funk that I'm in right now. But yeah, that's going to be it, and I guess I will see you guys in July, and yay for turning the big 3-0 podcast, woot. Yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you very much for hanging out with me, and I hope I'll see you guys again next week. Bye.